All right, welcome to the Adventures of Alcaraz podcast. My name is Julian Alcaraz.
And I'm Miranda Alcaraz, and this is week 17 to 18 of the pregnancy podcast updates.
Yes, so
2 weeks out of halfway.
2 weeks out of halfway. We're getting a lot closer to getting to go to the ultrasound, which we're really looking forward to.
Right? I was thinking about it last night, actually. We saw the only other ultrasound was at 6 weeks, so it's been like 3 months. And it was like a dot. It was nothing.
Yeah, it's going to blow our minds.
Mostly yours.
Pretty much.
I feel like I can feel things happening. I've been feeling him move a lot more.
He's like poking you?
Yeah, like random little pokes. It happens most often after I eat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this past week also, one of the things, I don't know if we talked about it last week, but just scaling back even further from even like ball slams, now you're going to even making more modifications as the weeks come. And even last night, you had me feel your diastasis, and you feel this, and just the ab separation that already naturally happens.
It's deep, right around my belly button. It's pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is around the time last time I was pregnant that you told me to stop doing toes to bar. This is how pregnant I was.
Wow.
So
we
definitely
were
a big
in the
difference.
Open.
Yeah, it was like one of the last weeks of the Open, like the second to last week of the Open. Which I had the coning then, but if I did that now, I can't even imagine how crazy it would look.
No way. It would be scary.
But the good news is, I think we talked about this last time, I do have a lot of pictures from that toes to bar like lunge workout.
Yeah.
And my butt looked similar to how I feel my butt looks now. And it did go back to somewhat normal, so that's good at least. I haven't weighed myself yet this week. I'll weigh myself tomorrow morning to see. So I don't know what the weight gain has been this week. For the most part, I mean, I'm still buttoning up most of my pants.
Okay.
But a lot of my pants, I was talking about it on one of the little clips I was making for the vlog earlier this week. Most of my pants are always really loose in the waist because they have to fit my legs.
Yeah.
So this is like the one time where they actually fit my waist.
I know your sleep's gotten slightly better almost, but also the double-edged sword there is that now you've been having some bad dreams.
I had 3 dreams this week where you either cheated on me or left.
Aggressive.
Our family.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've posted about my dreams a few times on Instagram because I've had crazy dreams throughout the pregnancy, but yeah, this week none of them were like good or funny. It's like sometimes they're funny or just weird.
Yeah.
This week they've been like not weird, they've just been like sad.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will say that they have similar stuff that they'll
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. Mm-hmm. I can tell. And then, because coming downstairs, your mood, you could see it. You know, and at first, the first one you had, we didn't really talk about it too much, but now allowing you to talk about it in detail to kind of get it out and express yourself for it.
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
important.
I mean, there's got to be like something evolutionary in like going back to like caveman days where the worst thing that could happen to a pregnant woman is her husband doesn't come back from hunting or whatever. Like then it's like, how am I going to take care of this baby, or I'm alone. And so there's got to be like something to that, like that it's just like a natural fear that comes up.
Yeah.
And then obviously like not feeling good about how you look and all that stuff doesn't help.
Yeah, which actually ties into one of the things that you were noticing now about your body changes.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I've had a conversation with several women who have never been pregnant before, and I always mention like you expect your belly to get round and maybe like your butt's bigger and your boobs are bigger, but like you get some pretty nice back fat going on. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing that upset me the most about my postpartum body after Knox was born, was like I expected my belly to be squishy and my legs or whatever, but like I saw a photo of me from the back after Knox was born. I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so bad. Mm-hmm. And I definitely the other problem is we've had a camera person here all week this week. So yeah. I always film the workouts. I'm like slobbering. I always film the workouts for the vlog. And so I see that, but like still photos of like, it's a little different. And we've had a photographer taking pictures every day this week. So it's just been like really reinforcing it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, all the things that people don't really think about, or keep in mind when for me as a husband, always continuing to understand as best as possible. And I know I try to make some certain common connections, but it doesn't do it justice with what you guys feel. So I know for me, it's always been about like trying to pull back more and more and more, knowing that just trying to listen to you and how you're feeling and make adjustments as weeks go by, because, even the differences between the first pregnancy and then this pregnancy, and certain things get brought up, but you feel differently about the same things, and just adjusting to those feelings. For on my end, those have been the biggest obstacles.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's like the thing that I don't love it. I think I told you, or I've talked to like Molly earlier this week. I don't like any of those pictures right now. I'll be glad to have them, and I think people should like take photos during their pregnancy. And I know a lot of people avoid them altogether. Like people that I know said that they didn't post at all during their pregnancy on social media. They didn't take any photos or anything. They didn't want to be in photos, which I completely understand feeling that way. But it will be nice to have those after the fact, to be able to. I mean, I show Knox photos of when I was pregnant with him all the time, and be like, that's me and you or whatever. And just to see the body transformation. It's hard when you're in it, but it's always something that you're going to appreciate having later.
Yeah.
And I am committed to like being real and sharing as much of it as possible, but even that can get really draining, where sometimes you're just like, I don't feel like
sharing it. I want to feel it my own, right?
Yeah. Because
what happens is if you share it and then there's like some a-hole who doesn't understand, or someone that makes you feel like you shouldn't be feeling those feelings. Yeah, that's the only downfall with sharing sometimes. It's sharing is sharing, but then people tend to share their opinion, which wasn't asked for.
Yeah.
Which makes things hard sometimes.
Yeah. And anyone who's never been pregnant before is not going to understand it, so they might be a little bit more judgmental. And then, you just get like, or if I share like, oh, this back fat, and there's people who started out more overweight than me, obviously, when they got pregnant, and you don't want to like offend them by saying like, this bothers me, because, so it's tough, but whatever. It's my story. It's my
journey.
Page, right?
It's your page. It's your pregnancy.
Yeah.
Nobody else's pregnancy.
Yeah. So, I made a joke earlier this week about my online shopping. It's been pretty bad, but it's also Christmas.
It's expected, for sure.
Do you remember when I did that stuff with Knox? Because we weren't sharing money yet in our relationship. And I ordered a couple $1,000s worth of maybe not a couple thousand, but over $1,000 worth of stuff from Pottery Barn for his nursery with my own money. Like, it wasn't our shared money.
Yeah.
And I remember you giving me a hard time about it. And I was like, I can do whatever I want. It's my money, The
good thing now is that we have this to carry over for the next. And, there's not many things that you do to make you feel happy, and this is just one of them.
I love decorating our home.
You love decorating the home, which to me... can't put a price tag on that. We can, but luckily we're in a position that, I just, having you get a lot of enjoyment and fulfillment from it is nice to see, with everything else that can add chaos around us. So, not big spenders.
No, I've just been, so we're moving Knox rooms, so he's going to have a new bedroom, so I kind of wanted him to be, like, super pumped about that, so I've been buying, like, we bought those cool vinyl stickers for the walls and everything. And then obviously it's Christmas, so Christmas decorations. Had to buy the new baby a stocking so that he's involved, and I got like a blanket for him to just like sleep with and stuff, because I know it's like good to like have your scent on it for a while before they're born and everything.
Just all the building process, and then the exciting thing is we got to go to the birthing center that we were interested in going to check out.
Yeah, so we've talked about the last few episodes. I think we've talked about how we've been thinking about having the baby at home, which honestly sounds so great, but it's just, and I'm a big like advocate for it. I think people doing it is fantastic. But for us, there was still like a little bit of, it still made both of us, I think especially you, a little bit nervous for like, what if something goes wrong?
Yeah.
Because there's not like a hospital super close to us and everything.
It's just like it's like a 20-minute drive to the hospital.
Yeah.
It's like mapping all that stuff out, and But going to this one definitely brought a lot of peace of mind.
Yeah, so we went to the birthing center. It's like 20 minutes from our home.
Yeah.
If there's no traffic, which there would be traffic at certain times of the day, but not a lot.
No.
Not a lot of, it's not like a big window where the traffic would be. It's not in the best area. I got to tell you, we got off the freeway and like the first thing we saw was this massive sign for a gentleman's club, like 2 blocks away from the birthing center. And I was like, okay, like this is not what you want to see when you're on your way to like go give birth. And it kind of just talks about the area a little bit when you see stuff like that, right? But once we were inside the building and everything, it was really nice. It was really clean and cozy. And the midwife that showed us around was super cool. When she first came out, I was like, I don't know about this lady. But then she was like really great and like had good vibes and showed us around and talked to us and let us ask a bunch of questions. And it was nice. It was nice. The only thing that I don't love about that place is that they are not certified at this time. And she said it could change. I mean, we have like 5 more months to do the underwater actual birth. So I can be in labor in the bathtub, but I can't push the baby out in the bathtub.
Right.
So, and I really liked that with Knox. So yeah, if we go there, which I think we will, that just won't be an option. Yeah. Which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah. But I'm glad it was good vibes overall. It made us feel more comfortable. Everything, hospital is really, really close by. It's like 3 blocks away. Yeah. All those things to keep in mind. So it's really nice. But on top of that, we were able to also interview some doulas.
Just one.
One. Oh, the other one was previous week.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, we were able to interview another one. Oh, this is our third one that we interviewed, actually. Yeah. Yeah,
so Erica is one of the founders of BirthFit. She's the one who created all of the functional progressions. She's like I don't want to get her credentials wrong, but she's like a chiropractor, doctor person.
Yeah.
That put together all the weird-looking movements that I do in my warm-up to like help prevent like some of the problems that people have with their pelvic floor and their diastases and stuff. So she created all of that.
That's awesome.
She lives in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And so that's also not close. But, she's awesome though. And so potentially having her come out 5 days before and staying 5 days after, she was open to it.
Yeah.
And obviously Street Parking has ties with BirthFit. So there's stuff we could do with her here.
Absolutely.
While we're waiting if that happens, but.
Yeah, when it comes to a doula, I think the biggest fear there that if it's a remote doula is because now knowing that things could happen 3-4 weeks beforehand or even a prolonged due date, right? And so it almost adds a little bit of a pressure if your doula is remote and you don't fit that nothing happens within that window. So we've been having to be very realistic about that situation because, and even the doula mentioned potentially having like a backup here just in case. But for me, the doula is a really good support that has the knowledge of what's going on, even though we've experienced birth once. The second time around, just having that peace of mind person to just be like, everything's okay, or helping me out in that situation when I don't have an answer for what's going on. She says, yeah, things are good, and then keeps me in the zone.
Or even like, I remember we consulted with the doula a lot because Knox was 2 days late, and when I started getting closer to my due date and I wasn't like showing signs of like labor starting anytime soon, they started giving me all sorts of like supplements to take and everything, and I would always call the doula first and be like, is this something I should be doing? Because even though we loved our midwifery last time, it was like, are they just trying to make sure that I have the baby there because they're trying to like
make
their money, and they're worried if I don't go into labor soon that I'm gonna have to go in the hospital, which I also didn't want, but not so badly that I would have been comfortable putting Knox in like a weird position, So, and she always talked me through it, or she would call them and talk to them about it and get the information like, why are you giving her this? What's the concern here? And then she could explain it to us better and stuff. So I remember talking to her about all of that.
That's awesome, yeah.
one of the things, like, not a lot of people know what doulas do or what their involvement is. One of the things that I really liked that Erica was talking about this morning was meeting with us several times beforehand and, like, giving us, you and I, like, homework to do to make sure that our connection stays strong through the pregnancy and postpartum, because if you go into, like, I can't even imagine if you go into, like, labor and you're got weird vibes with your spouse and they're supposed to be the person supporting you, like, that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an assistant coach or a coach helping a coach.
Yeah. So making sure that we are connected and everything. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel really good about her. It's just the decision about if.
The remote.
Yeah, we're comfortable with having our doula live in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Luckily, he's due in April, so it's not like, because they have really bad weather over there where she would get snowed in or something.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be the case in April, so that's good at least.
That's great. Lots of things to still figure out.
We're headed home for Thanksgiving next week.
We are heading home Thanksgiving. I mean, just our yearly trip.
Yeah.
So we're doing some travel workouts as we go. But I would say that's it regarding your updates.
Yep.
For this past week. Time's flying.
I know. I'm really excited. So we have Thanksgiving next week in Utah with my family, and my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, is almost exactly the same amount pregnant as I am. So that's fun. And then the following Tuesday after we get back, we get to go see him. I'm like counting down to that so much. I think you're going to be like...
In shock.
Oh my gosh. Like, that's a human baby. Like, that's a Knox. Because I do still feel... Like, you think about it sometimes, but it only hits you hard, like, very rarely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Agreed, yeah. Absolutely. But, yeah, those are all things to look forward to. Well, that wraps up this week's episode of Adventures of Alcaraz. Thank you for listening.
See you next week.